things before we move on that. What does the spectrum of light look when it's actually, as Carlos was saying, when it's cloudy? I know you're still getting all the spectrum of light, but you're getting less of what?
You're still getting the full spectrum
Lux.
equally, but basically you're getting less lux, so less brightness.
Less lux. Okay. And then last question that before we move on to the, again, we already measured these, which is giving you more of a rounded spectrum of light. So it's not, it's keeping things harmonized. As you said, now I get why you're saying they're harmonizing glasses. But when you're out in the sun, 99% of people wear sunglasses. So correct me if I'm wrong, I read this, I don't know if it's a study, but it makes sense that if you have sunglasses, especially if they're really dark and they encapsulate everything, your eyes regulate sort of how your body calibrates how much melanin it needs. But when you have sunglasses, it can't truly perceive how much light you're really getting, so it doesn't match how much melanin your body should be producing, and hence can expose you to cancer because of DNA damage from the UVA and UVB. Is that true?
100%. We were just talking about how light entering our eyes convert into all of our inner pharmacy, and it becomes POMC, and POMC becomes alpha MCH. We need that UV light entering the eyes so that the skin knows there's UV in the environment in order to produce melanin, nature's natural sunscreen. And when we're blocking that UV with sunglasses, and when we're sitting to sunbake, we're much more likely to harm ourselves because the skin is not properly producing melanin to protect us from the UV.
Wow, that has been scientifically shown?
I mean, I don't know exactly if there's like an exact scientific study showing this, but the links between UV promoting the production of POMC and alpha MCH, yes, there's so many studies on that.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And the link also between melanin and skin protection is also established.
Okay, yeah, it just kind of makes sense when you put it together, but there's no investment going into that. It takes millions of dollars. So in other words, when I'm in the sun, you also have the other side of the spectrum that too much light at 12 p.m. can damage your eyes. So just wearing these would kind of protect my eyes out in the sun.
Yes, funny you mentioned this because we live in an odd world, because if you go back to the 1970s, there's like many studies in the University of in the College of Virginia that were conducted on monkeys, and basically what they did, they opened the eyelids of the monkeys with eye clamps wide open, and they shone an intense amount of UVA, UVB, and UVC into their eyes, which does not represent the trace amount of UV that we get from sunlight, and in combination with the other frequencies that balance out the UV.
Right, we don't talk about UVC because by the time it penetrates the atmosphere, you're getting it's meaningless.
You don't get any UVC on Earth. It's filtered out by the atmosphere. And anytime there's UV exposure, it's always balanced out with the other frequencies like red and infrared. They come together symbiotically. UV never comes in isolation from the other colors. Okay. And with those monkeys, they shone high intensity UV light into their eyes. Also, because they had clamps, they couldn't blink.
Close your eyes or blink.
Natural mechanism to adjust to different brightness of light. And of course, they burned the eyes of the monkey. And that was like the beginning of the movement of concluding that UV light is bad, and it lines up so well with the industry of sunglasses and sunscreen shortly after.
Wow, interesting. Wow. All right, so let's get into why the orange and why.
And which ones are you wearing right now, Roudy? Because I know
right now I'm wearing the exact same ones that Miguel is wearing. So those are the daytime harmonizers.
Because yours look orange and his
they look a little orange.
Maybe because there's a lot more light coming.
Yeah, you have a white background.
So the reflection. Yeah.
Okay.
What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to measure the VivaRays evening lenses, the orange ones.
And guys and girls, sorry, as well, we will send out eventually a link to a 10% discount for the glasses So you can order whichever ones you want. If you have prescription glasses like me, you can upload it to the platform, and they take about a little longer to make, like a week, but you can get them with prescription like me. These are way different.
These are the evening orange ones, okay? And we designed those to block 100% of the blue and the highest frequency green. So much so that we wanted to hit the exact color temperature of a bonfire at 1,700 kelvins. Because 1,700 kelvins. Kelvins as the color temperature. So if you measure the color temperature of a candle or a fire, it's exactly between 1,600 and 1,700 kelvins. Okay. And when we engineered those glasses, we altered the frequencies and we filtered out green light in such a way to hit this exact color temperature, because we think that this is the color temperature that our nervous system are most used to after the sunset for thousands of years. That was the frequency of light that our ancestors have been exposed to after the sunset. And what we see is basically these glasses help you wind down, relax, yet you still have enough energy to do your evening activities without feeling very sleepy.
Yeah. So you put them on when dawn hits, when the sun is almost gone. When do you put them on?
After the sunset.
Once sunset is down, slap on the orange lenses.
Yes, ideally.
Our ancestral times or agricultural era where we lived off candles.
Absolutely.
Turn on candles. You're getting that same spectrum of light, as you said, the bonfire.
Yes. Ideally, people would be out witnessing that sunset directly or indirectly, because remember, light is information. It's literally informing our nervous system that the day is ending, and therefore it allows us to wind down, relax, and stop, and the body start naturally preparing all the hormones that we need for a restful night's sleep.
So in other words, to be very clear on what he just said, what it's doing naturally with nature, you're shifting from sympathetic, which is fight or flight or freeze mode, into parasympathetic, which is there's no danger around me. Back in ancestors, right? There's no danger around me. It's time to restore, relax, regenerate.
Yes.
Calm the central nervous system down. Okay.
Absolutely. And many people think, for example, that if the lenses are orange, they must be doing the same thing. And this is not true. I could show you that with the spectral color meter. This is another brand here that sell orange tinted lenses.
No, that's not your brand. That's not your brand.
No, it's not my brand. It's another brand.
Okay, and this is like 99% of the brands out there. They're not really properly filtering what you actually engineered to get from the orange lenses of VivaRays.
Yes, frankly, I've tested more than 50 or 60 different brands, and like
which is the majority of them. There's not a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's also like so many on Amazon, and I've tested frankly like so many of them, and what I saw that almost 99% of the brands, they're either blocking very little or too much. They weren't scientifically like addressing
harmonized. They weren't harmonized. I love that word.
Okay, so with these ones, for example,
what are those? The reds?
No, these are the other brands.
Oh yeah, the online brands. Yes.
So basically, as you can see, they're still allowing a lot of the green. Even the blue between 480 and 500 nanometer is coming in, and a lot of the green is coming in.
And that's enough to not help you shift to restorative relaxive mode.
I mean, it's absolutely better than nothing.
Right, of course.
It's not optimal.
It's not optimal, which we look for optimal at all times.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Now, okay, so supposing
so that's cool, because with yours, I'll be, I'll be frank, I don't usually use the red because they're just very, very, very dark. Now, for example, like if I take a flight and I land at nighttime and I know that I'm just going to go home and go to sleep, I do slap on the reds, because obviously in an airport you have so much light that it's almost offensive. So the red lights are great when you're traveling through an airport or you're trying to like wind down and go to sleep. But you know, I'm guilty. My wife and I watch a little TV. That's kind of our time together at night. But I always wear the orange one. So it was really nice to see on your test that even when I'm wearing the orange, as I'm watching a little TV, I'm still within that like evolutionary light spectrum that we've been used to for so long with candles.
Absolutely. In fact,
And
this is what they're designed.
and for the listener, you know, if you like watching a little TV to wind down at night, which you know a lot of us do, you know, the red ones are really hard to see, and there's a lot of brands that, you know, like with the red ones, you just can't, you know, you can't. You lose
colorblind. You're almost
you lose too much of the detail. Whereas with yours, the orange ones, you still get detail, and you still can comfortably watch a movie or a show without, you know, losing a lot of the effect. So that's an added bonus, I would say, from a user experience, that you don't lose a lot of the details and you could still comfortably watch TV while blocking the damaging light that will preclude you from going to sleep, because it'll block your melatonin production.
Right. I would echo on that if you're like me, type A, and you're very hypersensitive to stimulus, then I do wear the red ones when I'm in my room with my wife, you know, winding down. I'll put them. I don't care. I don't care if I don't get all the details. My sleep is superior and more important above all else. So I've gotten used to them. So yeah, if you're more sensitive and you feel this is not enough, eventually he's going to get into the reds. You want to slap on the reds maybe an hour or 2 hours before you're going to knock out.
Yeah, you got to learn what your threshold is.
Yeah,
you got to learn what.
You got to play with it. Got to wear them. You gain experience from wearing them.
Absolutely. And a very interesting fact is basically the rods in the eyes is what they're the photoreceptors that allow us to see in darkness. All of us as human beings in the modern world, we've made our rods absolutely lazy because they don't have to work. We're constantly in very bright environments at 1,000 lux at night, which is 1,000 times brighter than a full moon and infinitely brighter than a new moon.
Wait, blue light LED is 1,000 times brighter than the
full moon.
And,
yes.
And what you're also doing when you say you're making lazy the eyes, I guess also there's certain lenses, right, that they're adjusting. You're keeping those muscles contracted on one spectrum of light. So eventually you're weakening them, is what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely. But what I'm also saying is the rods are designed to allow you to navigate in the dark. In the dark. And for many years, many of us, we grew up in very bright environments at night, so much so that the rods never needed to work. And what happened particularly with me is when I became very deliberate about blocking artificial light at night, what I started to notice is that my nighttime vision became a lot better. So much so that I would go camping with my friends and I'm the only guy who doesn't need the flashlight. I could navigate through the forest perfectly, and my friends couldn't understand how I could see what they could never see. But the reality is my rods were working again.
Wow, God's design is perfect, man. We're made to be adaptable to every environment. We're just in the way of that.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yes. So, okay, let me show the red lenses and show why not all red lenses are created equal as well. So this is the VivaRays one here.
Okay. And guys, they have many styles if you go to the website. These are like an 8-liter look. And the single layered one, they have a lot more variety than the 2-in-1 or 3-in-1. Okay.
So the red ones, they're blocking 100% of the blue, 100% of the green, and they're decreasing the brightness by 10 times as well, which is absolutely very important to signal to the brain that it's completely dark outside. I personally like to use those.
Sorry, you said it's increasing the brightness?
Decreasing the brightness.
Decreasing the brightness completely. So it's almost like it's completely dark. There's not even a full moon outside.
Yeah, so say you're in an airport and it's lit at 1,000 lux. When you're wearing these guys, the brightness is going to go down to 100 lux, which is phenomenal.
Yeah. So that typically, I'm getting about 100 lux of light. With
What's that?
So with the red, like for example, that's a great, like for example, when you're at the airport, whenever we travel, we're coming back from California because we have an event. Sometimes we get here late and we want to go to bed. And again, you know how an airport is; it's completely light up.
Yes.
You're getting about how much lux of light there?
1,000 lux.
1,000 lux. So by wearing the red lens, I'm dropping down to 100.
Yes. Yeah. 10 times less.
Yeah,
yes.
I noticed that I don't, like I said, I don't usually wear the reds because it's just kind of like, especially if my room is dark, it's very hard to see in there. But last time that I noticed the value of it was when I was walking through an airport, and I'm like, oh my, because the orange, it felt very bright. Yeah. But with the reds, I felt like it was like equanimous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. And the way I also like to use the red is usually if I'm not in a very bright environment, I like to use them 30 minutes before bed to really get like.
Okay, so you would suggest put them on 1 hour, 30 minutes at tops before you're starting to like really wind down, slap them on.
Yes, and if it's someone who's struggling with insomnia, then absolutely the red are going to be very important. And I would then wear them 60 to 90 minutes before bed until insomnia.
90 minutes, put them on.
Yeah.
Copy.
Yeah. We've had a lot of our clients who've struggled with insomnia. First one was my mom. She had like chronic insomnia for 8 years. And at her best, she could only sleep for 2 to 3 hours. And after literally implementing few things like viewing morning sunlight during the day, getting more sunlight breaks throughout, and blocking artificial light at night using the VivaRays lenses, she's now sleeping 8 hours again. Her hair was growing again. Her nails completely different. Skin, completely different woman. It's phenomenal.
So for somebody with chronic insomnia and that they're on sleeping pills, because we got a couple people like that, start wearing them and be patient and wait a week, 2 weeks, you start really seeing changes, because a lot of people are like, I didn't see results, right? Like wait, what would you say? Wait 2 weeks of consistently wearing them to make an assessment and evaluation?
To be honest, I think if they're doing it right and if they're getting light during the day and properly blocking artificial light at night, their circadian clock should be resetting within 3 to 7 days max.
3 to 7 days max. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is like the number 3 days is backed up by science. It takes 3 days for our circadian clock to reset back to its natural state.
3 days.
And this is exactly what happened. If you go back to my story on the farm, it took me 3 days for me to start noticing a phenomenal transformation where I was naturally sleeping after the sunset, waking up before the sunrise with no alarm, feeling rested, energized, exhilarated. And I was like, whoa, what happened? And it literally took 3 days at the time.
And I would also add to that, for those of you that, again, have severe insomnia, you'll find on this video below a link not only to the VivaRays, which is the only brand we recommend, period, end of story, but also to blue blocking light bulbs that we use in our home. There's a specific company that you can actually regulate different spectrum of light depending on the day, but our whole home is wrapped in them. So you want to change the lighting, meaning during the day, you can have a certain spectrum, but if you click it off and on, it switches the light spectrum, mimicking more a night environment. So,
absolutely. And to end, Miguel, I'm going to show why not all red tinted glasses are created equal. So I'm going to test these red lenses from another brand. It's a very expensive brand, by the way. They sell their glasses at $170 for the nighttime lenses.
And which, by the way, your price point compared to other companies, guys, you don't have to waste the time. We've already done the research. The price point for his glasses are really solid. Like they're not too much, they're not too little.
Okay, so as you can see,
look, you're getting the blue light. Look at that.
Even though they are red, we're still getting spikes of blue and spikes of green there. And they're not nearly as efficient at blocking, at decreasing the brightness. So that tells you why not all orange tinted lenses are created equal, not all red tinted lenses are created equal.
It's amazing. Good job, man. Good job on that.
Yeah. Roudy, how old are you?
33.
33, and you became an engineer at what age?
22.
Wow.
Great,
Look at that, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Man. So before we close out, is there anything else that you want to share that we may have left out that's important, including you, Carlos?
Well, I would just say to the reader, I mean, you know, like if you wanna ask us more about why you know, blue blocking is important. I mean, you know, Roudy just kind of went very deep, but I would say the biggest takeaway from a consumer perspective is that not all red glasses or orange glasses are created equal. You want to go with a brand that has done the research, that has done the engineering, that has the testing, and that you can actually get the value of what blue blocking promises, but you have to, you know, choose the right brand. And for us, you know, Roudy with VivaRays is the right choice.
And again, they have the uniqueness of being able to have clip-ons, which that to me was it was a cherry on top.
I think one more thing that we did not cover is the issue with prescription lenses. So anybody who needs prescription, they go to their optometrist office and they get their prescription. But the truth is that those prescription lenses from the optometrist office, they block 100% of UVA, UVB, and blue-purple light, because now they're adding the clear blocking tint on their prescription lenses. And what happened is these people are wearing these lenses outside in the sun, and they're missing on absolutely necessary frequencies that activate our thyroid gland, our pituitary gland, etc. So what we did is we came up with a system called the 4-in-1, where we have the base frame in prescription, allowing 100% of blue-purple light and 50 to 60% more UVA and UVB. And that makes people able to be outside in the sun. If they're performing any task that requires vision, now they don't need to think about it. They're still getting that healthy light from the sun. And they have 3 clips, daytime, evening, and nighttime, that they will use depending on the time of the day to filter out artificial lights.
Wow.
Incredible.
Wait, so the ones that I have are not correct? These are the 3-in-1.
You got the 4-in-1s, right?
Oh, these are prescription, and I have the clip-on, the orange and the red. Is that the 4-in-1?
But no, like you should have like your base and prescription as clear, and you should have 3 clips that come with it: daytime, evening, and nighttime. So let me review with my team to see what they sent you, and I'll coordinate that with you.
And I would want to ask you about the ones, because I think this is important for people. Look, like Miguel said, I'm very lucky. I'm 43 and I have 20/13 vision. I like to keep that. But I am in front of a computer screen during the daytime a lot. I mean, I do have a red light in my office, but I get very little natural light. So the clear ones for in front of the computer when you're working, those would be really, really valuable for me.
Yes. And those, when you look at their colors, they're not 100% clear, but they're not also dark yellow.
Right.
They're somewhere in between.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested in those, because I don't have I have different brands, but as I'm looking now at your testing, they probably don't pass the test.
Throw them away.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? We're good? Closed out?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All
and
right.
Let's talk about your lenses to
just... Yeah, we'll do that after. Well,
yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This was an incredible amount of wealth of knowledge. Roudy, you blew my mind.
Yeah, Roudy, first of all, man, at your age, thank you. Dude, good work, man. We're proud of you. We look forward to, you know, your continuing engineer and research, and we're going to continue to follow you and get our coaching for light filtering from you for sure.
For sure. For sure. So with that being said, if you're interested in the glasses, give us a call. If not, look down below on this video. You'll find links to the blue blocking light bulbs, specifically his blockers. And call us if you have any questions. For now, stay healthy.
God bless.